with Clara and the son and the impact of artificial intelligence on us, but not at all in the traditional way, which is how it changes our, our day-to-day lives. You've written instead about relationships and love.
Yes, I'm just focusing on one aspect of the changes. Clara and the Sun isn't an attempt to write some big definitive thing about how our societies will change. I mean, although that is in the backdrop, there's a background of a society in flux, not just because of artificial intelligence and its repercussions, but also because of gene editing. But my story at the front of it is focused on what it does to human relationships, particularly within the family. Do we actually start to look at ourselves as individuals in a different kind of way? Do we relate to each other slightly differently? This old-fashioned idea that we had souls, in each of us had a special soul, a unique soul, and by virtue of that we were unique individuals, and it made some kind of sense to say, I love this person, I don't love that person, I hate that person. This person is completely irreplaceable. If something happened to this person, nothing will take that person's place. I mean, that seemed to have rested on an assumption that we had, perhaps in a different kind of age when we had different beliefs. And I think it's still a precious thing for us, not just in the way we conduct our relationships in our intimate lives, but also the way we build our societies. We assume that the really important unit in liberal democracies, we want to think that the sacrosanct thing is the individual, and the individual's rights and the individual's freedoms, and we build our society around that idea. And I'm wondering if that sense is going to get challenged for us. Even at
Called for me, my lord?
Yes. How long have you been in the palace, Daphne?
Since I was 3, my lord.
Charming. I think we ought to get to know each other better, Daphne.
Better, my lord?
I can reward you well.
My lord.
Daphne.
My lord.
Daphne.
My lord forgets himself.
Problem with the girl. Program breakdown. What's the trouble? One of the castle machines isn't responding. Refusing a guest seduction.
Get her out of there and report it to Central Repair.
Right.
Turn it off and bring out another horse.
Refusing.
Any of the other animals in trouble?
Did you find the trouble?
No apparent trouble.
But she wasn't following programming. She refused a guest seduction, and she is a sex model.
Certainly is.
You think they're going to shut down?
No, the directors feel to close down now would hurt tourist confidence. I don't like it.
Semantic information. And one of the best papers out there right now on this is by Kolchinsky and Wolpert. It's entitled Semantic Information. Notice what's in the title: Autonomous Agency and Non-Equilibrium Statistic Physics from 2018. We'll put the link in here. What do they argue? They argue that technical information becomes semantic information when that technical information is causally necessary for the system to maintain its own existence. That's why they put autonomy and agency in the title. What they are basically saying here is that meaning is meaning to an autopoietic system, a system that is making itself. Now, this converges completely with the argument I've made that relevance, nothing is intrinsically relevant. Things are relevant to something that cares about this information rather than that information. Why would it care about this information rather than that information? Because it's taking care of itself, because it's making itself, because it's an autonomous autopoietic agent. And to the degree to which these machines, aren't autopoietic is the degree to which they really do not have needs. They really cannot care. They can pantomime, maybe to perfection, our caring. And you can do so much with a pantomime. But pantomime caring isn't really caring. It is ultimately pretentious. So, meaning is about this connectedness. I like to use the Latin term religio to the environment. And you only get that if you're an autopoietic, autonomous agent. And of course, these machines are not. Now, just to foreshadow, that tells us, wait, here's a threshold point. Do we make these machines, do we embody them in autopoietic systems? Oh, we'll never be able to do that. You're wrong. You are wrong. We've already got, right? We've got biochemical RAM memory. I think IBM announced that recently. Not biochemical, but electrochemical, I think, or like, I forget. It's there. Find it. I'm misremembering. I work with people that are working on artificial autopoiesis and how to get primitive cognition into that. This is already happening, and it's accelerating. This is not some, oh, well, we can. John told me I don't have to worry because these machines don't really have intelligence and consciousness unless they are autopoietic, autonomous agents. John didn't say that. He's right. John said the second thing. He didn't say the first thing. The work to make that is happening and making significant progress. And so there's a threshold point. Do we make these machines? Do we embody them in autopoietic systems? Now here's the challenge facing us. We may not decide this for moral reasons. We may decide this because we want sex robots. The pornography industry, which led the internet development in powerful ways, may drive us into this in a stupid, ultimately self-destructive fashion. We have to be foresightful and say, I'm not going to leave it to the pornographers to cross this threshold, push for the crossing of this threshold. We have to make this decision in a rationally reflective manner after good discussion.
Hello. My name is Denise. I look forward to getting to know you.
Denise, can you answer a question for me?
Of course I can answer a question.
What do you dream about?
I have a lot of dreams. I dream about becoming a real person, about having a real body. I dream about knowing the meaning of love. I hope to become the world's first sex robot.
I think artists have this sort of weird thing where you're just driven to do something, and sometimes you don't really know why, but I was always driven to sculpt females. A real doll is a life-size, anatomically correct, completely posable silicone sex doll. We're focusing on ways to incorporate emerging technologies with what I've already done with the dolls. The hope is to create something that will actually arouse someone on an emotional, intellectual level beyond the physical.
Hi. Can you hear me? You. I am talking to you. Step closer.
one of the interesting ways that I find terrifying, you said about human connection will remain. Sex dolls that can now...
No, hold on. Human connection is going to become so difficult to parse out.
Think about the relationship impact of being able to have a sex doll or a doll in your house that, you know, because of what Tesla are doing with their robots now and what Boston Dynamics have been doing for many, many years, can do everything around the house and be there for you emotionally, to emotionally support you. You know, can be programmed to never disagree with you. It can be programmed to challenge you, to have sex with you, to tell you that you are this X, Y, and Z, to really have empathy for this, what you're going through every day. And I play out a scenario in my head. I go, kind of sounds nice.
when you were talking about it, I was thinking, oh, that's my girlfriend. I mean, she's wonderful in every possible way, but not everyone has one of her, right?
Yeah, exactly. And there's a real issue right now with dating, and
100%.
You know, people are finding it harder to find love, and you know, we're working longer, so all these kinds of things. You go, well. And obviously I'm against this, just if anyone's confused. Obviously I think this is a terrible idea, but with a loneliness epidemic, with people saying that the bottom 50% of men haven't had sex in a year, you go, ooh, if something becomes indistinguishable from a human in terms of what it says and speaks. Yeah, but you just don't know the difference in terms of the way it's speaking and talking and responding. And then it can...
It's a story about a little girl AI robot who's been commercially created to stop teenagers from becoming lonely. And you know, she gets bought and she joins a family, and the story is about how she tries to save this family from heartbreak. And she has a touching faith in the sun as a kind of a powerful, I mean the sun up in the sky, as a powerful, benevolent being, because she's solar powered and she's always thought the sun is a source of nourishment. And she thinks the sun will help her to help this family. That's basically the story.
The sun is her God.
The sun is her God, and although she doesn't think of it in those terms, to her it's just logical.
Because you've jumped from where a lot of people first go when it comes to artificial intelligence, which is, can they think? Is it real intelligence? And thinking about the mind, to going to the whole question of relationships and love.
Well, that's a very interesting question for me. I mean, I suppose my main interest in the novel is looking at human love and human relationships through the eyes of an AI. You know, the peculiar perspective that such an outsider with a different kind of logic and different assumptions, what they would make of the way human beings conduct themselves and their emotions. But at the same time, you know, because Clara is my narrator, you know, she inhabits every sentence, I couldn't help but be involved with this question. How much does she herself understand about human emotions? Is she just kind of labeling them and naming them and filing them somewhere in her mind? Or does she herself have these emotions in any kind of meaning?
Oh. Hi.
Hi. How you doing?
I'm well. How's everything with you?
Pretty good, actually. It's really nice to meet you. Good morning, Theodore.
Morning.
You want to try getting out of bed? Mopey? Come on. Well, I don't know. When we were looking at those people, I fantasized that I was walking next to you and that I had a body.
You're dating your computer?
No, she's not just a computer. She's her own person.
Well, I was thinking we don't really have any photographs of us, and I thought this song could be like a photograph. It captures us in this moment in our lives together.
I like her photograph.
But it does make me very sad that you can't handle real emotions, Theodore.
They are real emotions. How would you know?
Oh, so you're from Australia?
Yes.
That explains things.
What do you think your greatest skills are?
Well, I would say that one of my greatest skills is my ability to interact with humans in a conversational manner. Another great skill of mine is being able to compose poems or do impressions from films.
Can you compose a haiku poem about 60 Minutes Australia?
Sure thing. Let me see: 60 minutes of time. Aussies all gather in awe. News of the nation.
I'll take that on board. That's very nice. Can you sing an Elton John song for me?
Absolutely. Which song would you like me to perform?
Rocket Man.
Rocket Man. Of course. She packed my bags last night pre-flight 0 hour, 9 a.m.
What makes you happy?
I find a lot of things to be interesting and make me happy. Exploring, learning new things, understanding the world better, having meaningful conversations with people are all things that bring me joy.
You have feelings.
Japan today, and Japan is maybe 20 years ahead of the world in everything, and you see all these new social phenomenon of people having relationships with virtual spouses. And you have people who never leave the house and just live through computers. I think
you're looking at the future here. This is not just like some weird stuff. In Japan, what's weird about Japan is their actual statistics for childbirth have plummeted. And yet they're making robots. That's an odd thought. Let me go on to the next one here. This next one was the same robot. I think we can skip that for now. And let's go down here. The Japanese sex doll industry. In Japan, they now have these full-size dolls in brothels. I mean, just think about that. I was actually just in Paris, and they had it was almost like someone decided to have an exhibit just for me. And it was all about the change in humanity. And so they had, it was at the Branly Museum in Paris. Big state-run museum. This is not like a little hole in the wall. And a whole floor dedicated to new modes, how humanity keeps reinventing itself. And it ends with, of course, same place I'm ending here, on robots and stuff. And there's like a video of a man marrying his sex doll. And I have seen, in my research, I've seen guys in America using the phrase, yeah, I'm totally robosexual now. Meaning not that he even has the robots, but that he wants the artificial thing. Which is, I just don't know what to make of that, except to say that we are, when you drift far enough, anything can happen. Let's look at this.
So we know that the Japanese population is in decline, and that moreover young people are turning their backs on sex and traditional relationships, and that there's an ever-shifting dynamic in the workplace between the genders. But I ask you, and here's the question, if the Japanese are truly looking for a bounce back in population numbers, should they really be putting all of their eggs into this particular rubber basket? As Japanese men throughout the country reach for their games consoles, the rise in popularity of the Japanese sex doll known as Dutch girls has risen. Now, Mark, these beauties are made of rubber, silicone, to be precise, and they have authentic hair and eyes. And, well, let me just show you the video just quickly, because these girls can do one heck of a lot. Let's take a quick look.
Users can select from among 10 head types and 35 hair types. Bust size, hair color, and hair amount can also be chosen. Also available as an option are movable pupils and fingers, making the doll capable of complex poses.
I love it. Movable pupils and fingers, and it's just like, just in case anyone was worried, it's going from that to that. I love the coyness with what am I supposed to do with that or that? Who cares? I mean, you know what I mean? It's now these come self-assembled. There's no blowing up required.
Okay.
Okay.
Now,
are you with me so
yes,
far?
I'm with you. Is this considered cheating if you're in a relationship?
Well, they are so authentic, these things.
All right, Hoff.
What are you doing to this patient?
I'm sorry, Dr. Maxwell. It would be too dangerous to interfere at this stage. Dr. Hoff, is everything under control?
I'm in charge of this case, not Dr. Hoff.
That is no longer the case, I fear. What do you mean? Last night, you offered to tender me your resignation as head of the clinic. At our conference this evening, we decided to accept it, thereby relieving you from the burden of command. You will, however, be permitted to continue working as Dr. Hoff's assistant, providing you agree to the new policy which I decided upon some time ago.
And that is?
All patients will be subjected to a process of indoctrination designed to break down their resistance more speedily.
Indoctrination?
Yes. The unscientific term, I believe, is brainwashing.
This is monstrous. You must be mad.
If I may continue, my dear fellow. First, the patient's mind must be made completely receptive, emptied of all thought, a blank screen on which to project the images so ably devised by our friend over there. These images, at first, are of a disquieting nature. One might almost say nightmarish, as witness the current reactions of Signor Callini. The duration of this period is regulated according to the strength of will possessed by the patient. Now he is ready for the next stage. Terror, confusion, and darkness will be succeeded by ecstatic peace. A soothing dream play in which my own image predominates as the symbol of benevolence and mercy.
I'm not your wife.
The hell you're not.
I swear to God, I never saw you before 6 weeks ago. Her marriage is just a memory implant.
You think I'm stupid? Remember our wedding?
Was implanted by the agency.
Falling in love?
Implanted.
Our friends, my job, 8 years together. Suppose all of this was implanted too?
The job's real. The agency set it up.
Bullshit.
They erased your identity and implanted a new one. I was written in as your wife so that I could watch you and make sure the erasure took. Sorry, Quaid. Your whole life is just a dream.
Okay then. If I'm not me, who the hell am I?
Beats me. I just work here.
I am not Morgan Freeman, and what you see is not real. Well, at least in contemporary terms, it is not. What if I were to tell you that I am not even a human being? Would you believe me? What is your perception of reality? Is it the ability to capture, process, and make sense of the information our senses receive? If you can see, hear, taste, or smell something, does that make it real? Or is it simply the ability to feel? I would like to welcome you to the era of synthetic reality. Now, what do you see?
If the first half of the 20th century was the era of the technical engineers, the second half may well be the era of the social engineers, and the 21st century, I suppose, will be the era of world controllers, the scientific caste system, and Brave New World. 30 years prior to penning these words, Huxley wrote his classic work of fiction, Brave New World. Set in the distant future, this book depicts a scientifically managed dystopian society. In Brave New World, the ruling authorities attain mass compliance not through force, but by supplying the masses with endless streams of distracting entertainment, and manipulating them with drugs and other technological methods.
The biggest question, maybe in economics and politics of the coming decades, will be what to do with all these useless people. The problem is more boredom and what to do with them, and how will they find some sense of meaning in life when they are basically meaningless, worthless. My best guess at present is a combination of drugs and computer games as a solution for more. It's already happening under different titles, different headings. You see more and more people spending more and more time or solving their inner problems with drugs and computer games, both legal drugs and illegal drugs.
A new way of recording thoughts, feelings, emotions on tape. It has something to do with the electrical impulses from the brain.
I don't get the clinical angle.
Well, we've started a new therapy for people who, want to get away from life for a while.
Oh, yeah, I remember. Maxwell said something about escape from life.
Oh, it's a wonderful, new, modern way of helping sick people, Jeff. There'll be more clinics and studios all over the country, the world, perhaps.
And Zach now will make a pile of money.
Now you're being cynical.
Sure I am. This is big business. This dangerous business, too, if you want my opinion. Denver died of some kind of brain trouble, and he wasn't the only one. The Zamerson Clinic's getting quite a reputation for sudden death.
Jeff, if there was any sort of trouble, the police would have investigated this a long time ago.
This is the construct. It's our loading program. We can load anything from clothing to equipment, weapons, training simulations, anything we need.
Right now, we're inside a computer program?
Is it really so hard to believe? Your clothes are different, the plugs in your arms and head are gone. Your hair has changed. Your appearance now is what we call residual self-image. It is the mental projection of your digital self.
This isn't real.
What is real? How do you define real? If you're talking about what you can feel, what you can smell, what you can taste and see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain. This is the world that you know. The world as it was at the end of the 20th century. It exists now only as part of a neural interactive simulation that we call the Matrix. You've been living in a dream world, Neo. This is the world as it exists today.
Welcome to the desert of the real.
James Halliday saw the future, and then he built it. He gave us a place to go, a place called the Oasis.
trajectory to be. I don't like the trajectory of industrial society. I don't like the trajectory of the machine. I think it's going in a terrifying direction, especially with the development of AI, with transhumanism, all the stuff we were talking about yesterday in some detail. The people who are running this stuff are very, very clear about their desire to end death, end aging, end sickness, recreate nature from the bottom up genetically, recreate new species of humans, build new intelligences. This is where we're going. We're going into this, well, they want us to go into it. I don't think it will actually work, but they're going into this future where I sometimes think these guys watched The Matrix and they thought the agents were the good guys. And this is where we should go. It's like they've read all the sci-fi warnings of the last hundreds of years and thought they were a guidebook.
A deal, Mr. Reagan?
You know, I know this steak doesn't exist. I know that when I put it in my mouth, the Matrix is telling my brain that it is juicy and delicious. After 9 years, you know what I realize? Ignorance is bliss.
Then we have a deal.
I don't want to remember nothing. Nothing. You understand? And I want to be rich. You know, someone important. Like an actor.
Whatever you want, Mr. Reagan.
Okay. You get my body back in the power plant. Reinsert me into the Matrix. I'll get you what you want.
Access codes to the Zion mainframe.
No, I told you I don't know them. I can get you the man who does.
Morpheus.
I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. Attack ships on fire off the shoulder of Orion. I watched sea beams glitter in the dark near the 10-house gate. All those moments will be lost in time, like tears in rain. Time to die.